Hello everybody, how's it going? This is a lovely Savage 21. My lovely Savage 21 seems to have a bit of a bent wheel there, I don't know what that's all about. Now, the last time I ran this, had a bit of an issue with it. Well, I didn't have an issue with it when I ran it, but I had an issue beforehand, and that's where the pull start snapped, the string snapped, and I couldn't be bothered with it. What I'm going to do, take this apart and fish the string out of it and re-tie the end of it back on, but that's a project for another day. I'm not interested in that today. So what I'm going to do, what I've done was I've got this 3.5 engine and I had a roto start on it, so I nicked the roto start and put it on the K4.6. Put it on there. And then I ran it, done the video that I wanted to do with it, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? This HotBodies 3.5 engine is what come in the other Savage that I have, the Savage SS. When I bought that, it had this engine in it, and I didn't really run it. I think I ran it, well, no, I ran it once, and it didn't, I didn't really get a chance to even test it because the servos in that truck, they had it, and the throttle servo gave in, and so did the steering servo. They're both at the same time. They give in, if you remember. So literally I got to start it up, it ticked over, I literally drove it around in a circle, and that was it. Then I took this engine out of that Savage and put this LRP engine in there, which is currently out for some maintenance. So I thought to myself, you know what, I don't even know if this engine's any good. I don't know how well it runs, or if it runs any, well no, it runs, it starts up. So I thought, I've got to take this engine out to take the rotor start off of it and put it back on this engine, because I'm going to put a pull start back on that because I like the pull start on it. So I might as well put this engine in there and give that one a go, see what it's like. So that's what I'm going to do. And what I am going to do, for those of you interested, I've got this OS 30VG that I got running a little while ago. But I haven't got anything to put it in. I could put this in the Savage. I know you're probably going to say, stick it in the Savage, I want to hear it run later on. But I've got this pull start with a nylon, not nylon, a Kevlar string on it. So I'm going to take this pull start off. I have got an actual original K4.6 HPI, proper original branded pull start somewhere. I've looked in every box and I can't find it, but I've definitely got one. I just need to find it. But for now, this one will probably fit, and it'll be strong enough and it won't be snapping. So I'm going to take that off and put that on here, and the roto start's going to go back on here. So, but there we go. Always take your nitro pipe, your fuel line, off of your carburetor and stick it back on the little vent at the top there. That way, when you turn it upside down to get to your engine bolts, your nitro doesn't come out your tank. I mean, some people drain their tanks, but I leave my tanks full up. So, well, not full up, it's just whatever I add in them, I leave them like that. Anyway, let's get this engine out and see what we can do. Right, bolts are undone. All we've got to do is pop that throttle linkage off. Don't need to disconnect that. I've got a little piece of wire here holding the exhaust on, so actually I might not even need to do that. I could just, oh no, it'll be easier. It'll be easier. Let me go and get a pair of pliers. I've got to put the exhaust on the other engine, obviously, but it would be easier if I just undo this little bit of wire, and that. It's a little, what that is, a little bit of TIG wire, a little bit of TIG welding wire that is, just holding that exhaust on. And then this engine should just come out like that. What we're going to have to do, we're going to have to nick the bell off of it, and yeah, we'll nick the bell. I've got a bell here, but it's got too many teeth on it, it won't mesh, too fine as well. So we'll nick the bell, It's got a clutch on the other engine. There's a lot of dirt and stuff in here because we had a leak. Before I'd done that, some of you might have seen that other video that I'd done a couple of days ago, where I showed you how I would tune a K4.6. And the day before, when I got the engine ready, because it hadn't been ran for 4 or 5 months, this the mid-range needle there, that jet, it was leaking all out of there, and it must have been leaking the last time it ran, perhaps the last 2 or 3 times it ran. It must have been all leaking and dribbling down there. I didn't look at it, I'm not bothered about that. But it must have been because it's all caked all around here, all this nitro. So I just looked in my O-ring box, found a new O-ring, but that's the O-ring that was in there, and they go brittle over time. Come on, there we go. That's the O-ring there. It's got a slit in it. So one time I was going around the park, and that whole needle, that whole jet fell out, and I didn't even know. I was going around the park, and I didn't know anything about it. I'm surprised it ran. I really am. And you lot aren't going to believe me. You're going to be like, it won't run like that. But it did. It ran. But the only trouble was when it stopped, it wouldn't start again, obviously. And that's when I was looking around. That's when I realised the whole needle itself, the whole lot gone. Unscrewed itself and gone. Anyway, so you'd be surprised what an engine will run. You know, how an engine will run, you know. A lot of people probably don't believe little stories like that, but you will be surprised. Look, there's that piston, that thing, man. This engine's been drowned. It's, you know, you've all heard the stories. You don't need me to keep telling you, but this is a lovely engine, very strong, very strong. Anyway, let's get the rotor start off, get the bell end off, and then I've got to get the pull start off that other engine, off of that engine, and put it on here. And we'll put that one. Where's it? Oh, there it is. Roto start and bell go on there. Happy days. So, in a video or so ago, I explained how in the past this engine, before the bearings broke up and just fell apart, and all that was left was just the casing flapping around and this whole bell was flopping. Someone said that's bollocks, bullshit, because the bell would fall off without the bearings. Well, that's a load of rubbish, because what you've got is you've got washers and shims that go on there, right, and that won't go past the screw head. So that won't fall off, my friends. Whoever it was that said that that's bullshit. Because it won't fall off if you've got your shims and your washers on. And you should have your screw holds the bell on anyway. What's the point in having the screw in the end of it? The point of having the screw in the end of there is to hold the bell on, my friend. So it won't fall off. And it's not a load of bollocks. Right. There's not a lot of bearings left in here, to be honest. Speaking of bearings. Is there? Oh, there's. Thought we only had one then. Well, it don't look the best, but I haven't got any more. So, well, I have. I'm not going to put it on there. So that can stay on there. It's ran the wrong way anyway, and that one can go in there. Happy days. So on this one, K4.6, we've got a 2-shoe clutch, aluminium 2-shoe clutch. On this 3.5 we've got a plastic 3-shoe clutch. Not that it makes any difference, but well, it does make a difference. Well, it might do, but you can see the groove in the bell there where the springs have been hitting on that. Anyway, so that goes on there. Lovely jubbly. We're probably going to need to put that little piece of rubber. Probably going to need to put that little piece of washer that big washer. That big washer don't even go over the crank. There's going to be quite a lot. There's no point in having that on there really. I'll have it on there anyway. Shall I try and find, right, bear with me, because the end of that screw there is a bit dicky. It's a bit stripped off, look, you can probably see that. I'm just going to have a look through my drawer of nuts and bolts, try and find a better one. Right, I've found an Allen bolt, which is a bit better than a Phillips screw, and I've also found another washer there. Got a nice washer, that's a spring washer, so that should stop that from going up and down with any luck in a minute when I do the bolt up. Bloody text message, who keeps text messaging me? Right, anyway, now hopefully this bolt isn't too long. No, it's not too long. Lovely, that'll do it nicely. Now that, there we go. We've got a little bit of play. I mean, some would say too much, but I would say good enough for me. The old bearings are alright. That piece of fabric washer will probably not last long, but it's been on the 4.6 for a long time. So, we'll keep that screw because it's alright for other things. Right, bear with me while I just put all this back. Right, that's that done. Put that drawer back in its little slot in its chest of other drawers. Come on you, that's it. Nice, so now we've got an engine with a rotor start back on it as it was. There's the little piston going up and down in there. Happy days, love it. Got the bell on there, spinning around nicely. So that's the old engine. I'm probably going to, there's nothing wrong with this, so I'm just probably going to spray some degreaser on it, get rid of all that old burnt on nitro, baked on nitro, get rid of all of that, give it a good clean up, and it will go back in that Savage at some point. But I just want to run this engine, I want to run this 3.5, so we'll put this air filter on it. This is the one that was on the 4.6. Let's just get that cable tie up there a bit better. I need to get some more of these air filters because they're all starting to perish. All the little tubes along here, they're all perishing, and the Kyosho, you know, I can't speak, the MP9, that's perishing. It's not good, but there we go. Oh, that's not very good. Neither's that one. Neither's that one. Right. Gonna have to nick the gasket off of this one. Let's see if it wants to come off. It might not want to come off. It's gonna perish. It's gonna go. It's gonna put holes in it. It's old. 15 or more years old. That's a bit of a better fit, not perfect though. It's probably about the same as that one. Alright. We'll run that. We'll run this one that's on it. And if it leaks majorly, I'll just change it. But we'll run it. There's no reason why I can't run it. That goes around now. Can't even run two springs with this one because there ain't holes for two springs. Alright, there we go. Got an engine with a rotor start, a bell, an exhaust and an air filter on it. Let me get it put in the truck and then we'll fire it up. Make sure that it runs alright. And that'll be that. There she be, there she be. I did forget about the engine mounts, by the way. Some of you are probably going to be thinking, what the bloody hell is going on there? You didn't put the engine mounts on, you dickhead. Well, I forgot about them. I'm looking at it thinking, something funny about this. Something bloody weird ain't adding up. What is going on? And thought to myself, I forgot to do the engine mount, didn't I? Forgot to change it over. So the engine mount's off that on that one. That engine is now in. It's ready to rock and roll. Fuel pipe is on the carburetor. There it is. Carburetor. That goes on there. Okay. Nice. Oh, throttle. Link up the throttle. It should be in the same place as the 4.6 because it's a Savage engine. Everything is the same. You know, I know the size is different internally. Externally, everything is the same. Probably different carburetor, but whatever. I've got to change the steering servo because the steering servo is given up. But I've got a Futaba one here, so we'll try that. See what that's like. Probably not in this video because my thumb is absolutely killing me. I think I've chopped it off because it's bloody hurting me, man. I stuck a bit of wire in it and it went through and it might come out the other end a minute ago. It's absolutely killing me. It stopped bleeding now, but it was bleeding a lot. There's blood everywhere, all over me. Look, blood everywhere. Anyway, look, blood. Anyway, what was I doing? Yeah, let's see if it'll run, shall we? Now, it seems to be a common misconception that you have to have the electrics on, or the radio gear, in order for the engine to start, for the engine to run. A nitro engine, that is. Completely untrue, as a lot of you know. But I've seen, you know, as I've been doing this kind of thing, and I've been, you know, I've been getting you lot watching, and some of you lot got channels and things, didn't you? So I've been watching your lot's channels, whoever you are, and then obviously other videos pop up. Watch this, watch that. So I'm like, oh, look at that. Random people. And people are like, well, I must turn that on so that the engine will run. I'm thinking, no, you bloody haven't. You could take that engine out and put it in the palm of your hand and it'll run. You don't need anything. The radio gear's got nothing to bloody do with the engine. Anyway. Here we go. I've turned the radio gear on because I want to... Not that it's working very well. Here we go. Are we going to go? Who knows? Turn it around that way so you can see it a bit better. It's trying. Can you hear it? It is firing, just not enough yet. It smells like washing liquid. We're getting there. I just turn that screw there to piss those of you off that say I adjust things too early. No, I'm only joking. I want to try and lower that down a bit because it's a bit noisy otherwise. That's better. adjust this a little bit, turn this out. So it's, there we go. That should now. There we go. That's better. Cool, it smells like burning dust. God knows how long since this has actually run properly. Not very happy, is it? I've got to re-glue that tyre on because look, it's come off. It come off in that other video I done. Anyway, I know it runs. I'm happy with that. I've got to do something with the servos, steering servo, and a throttle servo on it. Really need to put some new servos in this. I've got the Savage SS suspension on it. The gearboxes are actually working now. The diffs, I mean. The diffs were a bit stiff before, but they're coming back to life now. So that's good. And I know the mesh is a bit loud. Some of you are going to mention that, but that's just because the bell and the spur don't really mesh. They're a bit off. But anyway, happy days. The 3.5 HotBodies engine in the Savage 21. I suppose once I've got some glue to glue that tyre on, we'll go and give it a run. See what the engine runs like. Don't know how long it's been since it actually run properly. I know that it come in that SS, come in the Savage SS, and that had been sitting for 15 or so years, he said. Something like that. And I've had that probably 2 years. Is it 2 years? Or 1 year? Maybe 1 year. I started it up, ran it briefly for about 2 minutes. The servos give up. Couldn't run it no more. And that was it. Ain't run since. Sat on the shelf. So that was its first start up since then. So we'll see what it's actually like. There we go. So if you want to see that, stick around. I might put a bit of degreaser on this and give it a clean off at some point, but I kind of like it like that. Nice one. Thanks for being here, you lot. Appreciate every single one of you. Remember, treat everybody equally, treat everyone the same, and we'll all have a nice happy life, my friends. That's the way forward, isn't it, eh? None of this arguing and bickering and all that other bollocks that everyone seems to do. Just accept people and have a nice life. See you later, you lot. All the best.